Bitcoin is up 25% since the collapse of SVB. That's telling you that some people are thinking all the banks are going to go under and you have to go to Bitcoin and be a saver. I strongly believe everyone needs to have some Bitcoin in their portfolio, 10%, 5%, like everyone should have gold, 10% of your portfolio in gold. I 100% agree. So yes, crypto is one of the places where you need to hold a portion of your assets. One thing is being a business owner, and one thing is being an individual that you invest your money and you have your money. As a business owner, I will have my money in different banks to start, not all the money in just one bank. But second, what is happening today, a lot of the money is going to treasury, deposit, or government documents. If you have your money in the bank's paying you probably a 1.5% if lucky. Governments pay you 5%. Why not putting your money in 5% deposits, right? By the government. We were a little bit lazy before. We just had the money in the bank and you didn't care about it because you never thought about that. Someone, another entrepreneur said something that it was interesting. He said, I have like 10 things I'm worried all the time that could kill my business. I would have never had my bank going under in my top 10. I never thought about that. Now I'm having that. So now we have a new level of protection that we're having our money in different places. And now we said, okay, why am I going to have X amount of money on the bank and just getting a 1%? If the government, I could buy a government deposit for 5%. Here's a problem that I explained at the beginning is SVB invested out of the 200 billion of deposits. They put 98 billion at 1.63% for 10 years. If the rate goes to 5.5%, you have to cover the 3%. 3% of 100 billion is 3 billion a year. So they were going to lose 3 billion a year for the next 10 years. If you want to sell today, you get a payment of whatever is worth today. And if you're losing 3 billion a year for 10 years, they will pay you 70 cents on the dollar. So if you sell today, you will accelerate a hit and get a hit of full 30% of your investment. And that's what killed SVB. They invested too much in one government bond, and then the Fed raised the rates too fast from 1.5 to 5, and they were not covered for that. If you see the management of Silicon Valley Bank, they worked at Enron, they worked at Lehman Brothers. Like, they were not the most diligent or decent investors or decent executives. So the market lost trust in the management team, and that's why I had a bank run the bank. I heard that there was a call on Thursday morning of the CEO of the bank with a lot of venture capital funds, and he couldn't convince anyone. The trust that he eroded on the bank was that. When you have a management team that is very, very solid and you have a problem, there's still some trust on the management team and they will react better. In this case, they were overprotected. They made a bad investment. The funds got nervous and no one trusted the CEO. So that added to the run the bank. And that's why I come back saying that after all of this, the US is going to come back even stronger than the rest of the world. We've been saying that the US is too strong and whatever. You always have a flight to quality. And the trust of the US rule of law, still the highest trust all over the world. If you say, well, Switzerland has a bigger trust of rule of law, or Finland. Yes, but in the size of the world economy, there's no difference. Let me kind of run the GDP of the world and the size of the countries because it's very important. The GDP of the world today is around $90 trillion. All the GDP of all the countries are around $90 trillion. The US represents 21 trillion out of the 90 trillion, around 25% of the world economy. The next one is China, but the trust in China has nothing to do with trust of the US. And one thing that is more important, whenever you're in an expansion economy, the countries that do the best are the ones that export. When you are in a contracting economy, the ones that have an internal market do much better. The internal market of the US is probably 2 or 3 times bigger than the internal market of China. Let's go back to GDP. US is 21, China around 16. Then you get Japan with 5. But Japan has the lost decade. They're turning off because they don't have enough young people. They have a lot of old people. And then you have like Germany. And then you have whatever. Then you have India, 2.6. Like, it doesn't matter any country below because they're 1 or 1.5 trillion compared to 20. Even though they have a stronger rule of law or whatever, if you say, okay, I'm going to send all the money of the world to Swiss francs, there's no capacity of the world. So the US has the best combination of rule of law, world trust, and confidence of doing business with. After everything that's going to happen in the next year or couple of years, there's going to be a flight to quality, and everyone's going to go back to whatever you know and you feel and trust. That is the US. It's going to happen. That's why the US dollar is the most expensive currency today. If you see the US dollar against any other currency has strengthened the last year, it's a flight to quality. People with the biggest capital in the world, they said, I don't care if I'm making more percentage of return. What I want today is not to lose my money. So you have a flight to quality. I'll give you the example of Mexico. I am originally from Mexico. The interest rate that the Mexican government is giving you today is around 11%. And they just raised it more than the US. So they're paying you an extra 6%, more than double the rate of the US government for lack of trust, because there's more money coming in from Mexico to the US than from the US to Mexico. That's why you have, that tells you how much trust there's in the world or that currency or that government. Yes, today I tell all my clients, I prefer profitability and security over growth. We've had 12 years of amazing expansion and growth in the world. Amazing expansion in the world. These are not years for that. First, learn how to be profitable and lower your risk. If after that you could have growth, great. But today you should prioritize profitability and security. As an example, when things are expanding, you start getting new products and services and you expand your offering. Today, I'm going through all my clients and say, okay, let's see all your SKUs or all your offerings. Which are the ones that are really profitable? And just doing that. We've seen out of clients that they were selling things, they were not very profitable or even losing money, but it was part of expanding your sales. Today, no way. And that's why all the tech companies are firing all these people. When you were growing, you were putting a lot of people handling new products, new ideas, new initiatives, whatever. Now you said, why? I need to continue delivering to the market profitability. The best way is to reduce expenses. What's my biggest expense? People. So I'm going to fire 10,000 and 7,000 and whatever. That's why every big company is firing people, because when the economy was expanding, they had all these people focusing in business that were unprofitable or with very low margins. Now they're contracting and firing people so they could be more productive. So that's the way you prioritize. No, all the people that are being fired is not because of AI. It's for profitability, 100%. As an example, you're not going to do billion-dollar bets today or new products or new markets. If you have your market and you know that you're reliable and they buy consistently, you will do that. You will not do crazy aggressive bets. Like, I know very few companies today that will go and get a big loan to open a new market or open a new product. No, you're going to stay with what you know, stay with what's safe, with an offering that you know you have clients buying it. The business community is expecting a recession or a slowing economy. We don't know if it's going to get to a recession. We don't know if it's going to be a soft landing or short. We don't know. But everyone knows that the inflation in the world is too hot, and all the banks, all the central banks are raising interest rates so they could cool off a little bit of the economy, trying to have a soft landing. We don't know if they're going to be able to be successful and have a soft landing. But there's no discussion. They're trying to cool the economy so they could cool inflation down. So all the central banks are doing that. And you're going to have a little bit of a contraction of the economy around the world, or at least less growth. And that's what people are worried of. And they are preparing for a different economy and a different market.